But I wrote this op-ed about 2 months ago, and I thought I said, so last year the recession ended, so this year the recovery is going to end. And then a couple days later, I look on the website, and here's the story posted with, me as Bill and Ted. And the headline is, "The recession is almost over." And I'm like, what the hell kind of time warp is that? That's the op-ed piece I wrote last year. Right? So, okay, the recovery is almost over. Got it? The recovery, the recession, that was last year. It ended. So this year the recovery ends. And I called those guys and I said, "Bruh, did you read the article?" And there was something about, well, we can't change the headline now. I don't know, whatever. This is how it appears in my professional organization's newsletter. So the forecast you were looking at, this is the public version of what they post on their website. And this is what the Fed says. Okay, so the recovery is almost over. You guys got that? Right? You missed the part where somebody forgot to send you the email. But the recession is over, the recovery is almost over, it may be over right now. And this perception, as I say, is I think the thing that's hanging a lot of people up. You deal with it every day in real estate because it's about people's willingness to take on risk. It's about people's willingness to invest. And if you look at the way portfolio preferences are tilted at the moment, the legacy of the Great Recession is that portfolio allocations are tilted towards liquid assets like bank deposits. So it's only liquidity if it gets lent out, right? If it's just sitting there in a bank and funding investments in Ginnie Mae's, which are government guaranteed, that's not risk taking. You see what I mean? Unless you're worried about the U.S. government failing, in which case, why would you buy Ginnie Mae's? So, I don't know, you'd be up with those other clowns in Montana with the guns and the survivalist guys. And there's people doing that too. But that's the thing, it's in people's heads. And as a result of that liquidity being kind of hung up and the credit, and granted, there have been lots of uncertainties with respect to the shape, the landscape of the future financial system and all, what's going to happen to securitization, which I think is even in a bullet point here, and my neck's getting sore from reading bullet points, so you read them. You got to have securitization. You can't just not have it. The banking system's not big enough to actually facilitate credit creation in this country anymore. I mean, we're not Europeans, right? We don't have universal health care, and 80% of corporate credit is not made by banks. In the United States, 70% of it is made through securitization by going directly to the capital markets. So that's the part that has to come back so that there are back channels for the instruments that you're creating to be distributed. And you can't just wait. You can't just have the Fed be the sole buyer of mortgage-backed securities, right? Writing checks on themselves. That's not the way the system, it's got to be circulating the liquidity. So we're not quite there yet, and that I think will continue to hang things up. I feel as if expectations are improving and that financial institutions in particular are going to be able to find their way out of this dark zone, but that's kind of the hang up right now. And then you have the renegades, right? That Tom Zimmerman and, all the other Banco refugees, and we're all out there doing other stuff. I don't know, how does your company get funding, right? I don't even know. So I'm just saying, I do know where there is a lot of funding, and it's kind of in the vault or whatever. Well, let's think a little about the local economy to conclude this part of the discussion on the backdrop. Jobs are a lagging indicator. Jobs are increasing, although, in June they stopped. So for all the guys that for the last 5 months were saying, no, they're not, where they were increasing. Okay, they got one in June. The job count actually backpedaled a little bit in June. But you can see the profile here, much